Hello and welcome to episode 40 of A Dose of Sinanity. I am GR3, joined by Wjfe and hopefully Jamokin at one point. He's having some internet issues, so we don't know. And maybe he's going to pop in later. If he does, what a treat that'll be. But we have a special guest today joining us. Wjfe, what's up, buddy?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. This should be a blast.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. For those of you who do not know, Wjfe is part of our beloved GRIN E-Sports organization. What exactly do you do with them?
That's a good question. Sometimes I don't even know that myself. I founded the organization, and for the most part, do like outreach or like if any player issues arise, I'm kind of the one that handles that. But besides that kind of stuff, mostly like we'll get into it a little bit, but events, charity stuff, social media, and just kind of let Brian do whatever he does and kind of support him in any way I can.
Yeah, and you used to be on the League of Legends side of things. You used to be the League of Legends Brian, correct?
Yeah, I ran all kinds of teams, probably about as many as like Grin always has. I'm sure we're pretty well known about having too many teams at any one point. We had
Heard
about like
that.
6 or 7 at any time, including like some academy level, like higher elo teams, but no longer.
Man, when you guys get 10 teams, talk to me then. Oh my lord. Running 10 teams. Well, you remember that shit?
More drama than it's worth. But yeah,
Oh,
a lot
man,
of fun.
it's exhausting, but it is fun, and it's great to be a part of it, and it's quite an experience to run a organization of that caliber as well. Um, so speaking of, I recall last year you guys reaching out to us about a charity event, and what a time that was. There's nothing like getting together an event in 2 weeks. Am I right?
Oh, 100%. I wouldn't have it any other way except actually probably not.
I could have it about any other way. Uh, you
The best
talk
part.
about the absolute amount of work that was in 2 weeks. Holy cow!
Oh God, yeah. It was even funnier too because we reached out to probably like 6 or 7 orgs, and we just got like ghosted by everyone. They're all like, "Let's do it." Put them all in a big Discord, and at the end of the day, it was like only Sins that was like still there. Like, yeah, I guess we can do this in like 5 days. Why the hell not?
Oh my god! I just remember like hearing about it, and then it was like nothing. And I messaged you or Brian, and I was like, "Yo, me and Ben are me and Welsh are sitting over here, and we're like, yo, are we doing this or not?" And I remember it's like, yeah, sure, okay, when? And like 2 weeks from now, and we're both like,
Excuse
fuck.
me? All right. Let's put a
Game
charity
on,
together. Yeah.
challenge accepted. Running the whole thing start to finish in 2 weeks, and let's be honest, like we had no idea what we were doing,
Oh hell no.
especially on like the large like event it really was.
Oh, dude, no,
And
I was set from the moment you told me about it. I was like, how do you get people to donate to a charity for Dota? I was like, I have
yeah,
it.
we're
I
gonna
have it.
talk about that. For those of you who don't know, in if you did watch Teamfight against Cancer last year about this time, um, we did a really cool aspect of donating to affect real time like events in the game. Credit to this goes to Welshie and his wonderful mind on this.
Yeah,
Completely his
wonderful.
idea, and it was so cool to kind of transform this into what it really turned into.
Yeah, I have
Welshie, do you want to kind of talk about that?
Yeah,
Like
I mean, it
what it
was just
was?
I'll fully admit, like, well, I do take some credit. Like, it was a great fucking idea. It was a little inspired by Midas Mode, but I do remember just we walked into the I walked in like not
What
walked in,
is
but
Midas mode for those who don't know?
oh yeah, dude, it's so Slacks came up with this fucking tournament, which was absolutely amazing. It was a really funny tournament of just like people like orgs could pay like it was a you got a pot of money as a team. Excuse me, I'm stumbling over myself, but it's you got a pot of money as a team. You like a starting pool, and you won quote unquote points or dollars to screw over the enemy team and do things like that. And I was like, why don't we just apply that on a bigger scale and just get people to donate to the stream for it? And I had this idea, like it took almost no time to come up with. And then I just said, I walked into the idea stream, to our idea like meeting, and I said, if we're not doing this, then we're wrong, because this is the best idea ever. Anybody in the world would pay to mess with the Dota game live. I would pay to mess with the pros game live. I would pay like $1,000 to get them to have to drop all their items and destroy them. And sure enough, like, I thought this was exactly what it was. I was like, this is a tight-knit community. Everybody knows everyone. We all want to mess with each other. So let's just donate and have a good force for this and make our friends deal with terrible consequences on the way. And we had a great time just sitting in a chat for like 2 hours, coming up with terrible ideas of punishments because we're all sadists.
Oh man, that was a great time. I mean, the process, one of the most fun things is getting bit by bit and like discussing, okay, what kind of punishments can we have? Like,
Wjfe, do you remember that
was
one?
Yeah, I think it's funny because you probably, both of you remember that as like a really fun experience, like coming up with all of these different things to do in game, and I'm just sitting there like you're speaking a completely different fucking language to me.
Yeah.
That I'm literally, I'm like, the room's dark, the screen is like illuminating my face. I'm just sitting there, my eyes are like wide as hell. I have no idea what's going on, and I'm just sitting there kind of quiet, letting you guys kind of roll and have fun. The whole time I'm like, God, this can be so fucking dope, and at the same time I'm like, God, I have no idea what's going on right now.
the part that I'm sure you did know was the incentives part.
Oh God, yep. Yeah, signed myself up for that. We all kind of signed it. We went big. We went real big for that.
Well, here's the problem. Okay. So for those who don't know, well, she was correct. This was the way to go. I think from any of the charity events, especially like within 82L, up to this point, I think the most that anybody raised was like 1,600 or 1,800, which is still really fucking good.
Yeah, no disrespect to them at all.
Right, but we so we went in with a goal of
I was about to
and we shattered it. We went $6,229, and which was just so far above. And like we created incentives at different levels. Like we really don't know. Like we think that this could take off and be a big moneymaker, but like we don't know. So we went all the way up to like 10,000, and I think it was like 6,000, and then we did a big step to 10,000. But like once we got above like 2,000 for our incentives, we we're like, like we'll put some big ones. We're probably not going to hit it, so we'll put some big like punishment type things. We were wrong, and we got to do a lot of big punishments.
So fucking wrong.
We were so wrong. Like I believe your brother Murky's had to shave his head. We had all of us, well, minus Wjfe here, got tattoos. And what a story, Ben.
Incoming. Yeah.
let's head into story time, because we can't miss story time. We have one every single episode. Tell us about your experience of you getting a tattoo, Wjfe.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm a bitch, dude. No, I mean, I'm not afraid to admit it. It was my first tattoo ever. So I didn't I didn't spend good money on it, which I really should have. And I got it on my thigh, and I'm gonna be real with you boys. That's a fucking pain.
How was your hip?
No, it was my thigh, dude.
Oh,
I got it it's
no, it wasn't. I have a picture right here. Did you forget it's on your own body?
No, dude. I got it that's upper thigh, isn't it?
He just has a really high thigh, okay?
He has a really high thigh around his hip area.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Look at that Patrick picture. That is him. That is his thighs are just like.
So point being
Lord
is that
large squads in the house.
I guess you qualify that, whatever. But anyway, the point being though is that I got it, like I had to take, it's not that big. It's like, how would I describe it? Like maybe as tall as my palm. And it legitimately, it took me 2 sessions. I was like ready to pass out. I was sweating. I was like, this sucks. Like this is ass. And then you got like this, and it wasn't even that big. And then you got what? You got this massive thing on your arm.
Yeah. What's funny is since then I've gotten 3 other tattoos, and Wjfe still hasn't gotten his.
I'll get it. It's pretty soon. Hey, Brian basically got enough tattoo for both of us, man.
Man, I'm gonna get
his whole bicep is filled. He filled the whole thing with like a GRIN logo, a little baby like LLS logo, but didn't get the eyes colored in. So it looks like something. That's all I'll say there.
I also want to say this. I've finally let the Reaper come for me in this, and I've convinced Kathy to do it. I'm making a promotional video, and I'm finally gonna put the video of me tasing myself in it. I'm gonna hate myself for it.
Oh
Let's
my
go.
lord, let's go. We'll finally have it.
Yeah, all the criticism is deserved. I'm a piece of shit, I know, but I actually am gonna do it, and I apologize to anybody who was waiting for it. But yeah.
That's how we'll start off the next thing.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, we'll start off with the video, or we'll fucking include in the trailer for the stream. But anyway, we'll get into that later. But I'll say this: like, do you guys remember any of the punishments from the list of what we did?
You know, as you say that, I just so happen to have all that information.
Oh god.
Crazy, right? So based on the punishment, so our first one, I believe, and as I say that, here it is. So our first one was $500. Admins had to do a princess cosplay.
I was pretty.
So all of us did this. I don't know about you guys, but I actually bought like a freaking Cinderella dress or something. I forgot what Disney princess.
You were Belle, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Was it Belle? It was the yellow one.
Yeah, you're Beauty and the Beast in all in one go.
Yeah, I ripped the shit out of it trying to put it on. Man, I found that dress like last week and I was just dying, dude. Like that was pretty funny. But the $1,000 one was Polar Plunge. That's my guilty one of not doing. My wife was sick at the time that it was cold. And it was cold to the point where it was like, okay, there's a chance I actually go into the water and then I don't come back out. And if I'm doing this by myself, then there's going to be some potential issues, and I like breathing. So by the time she was able to do it and all that, and it was past time. Like it was warm and all that stuff. So I apologize. That's my guilty one. Well, she didn't put up the tase. I didn't jump into the lake, and wife didn't get his tattoo. We're all guilty of something.
Yeah, but speaking of things we did do, though.
Yeah, what we did do, the cosplay, the fucking, oh my god. So before we get to that one, 1,500 was Zen face paint, which was fucking awesome. What a joy that was to watch him do that on stream. 2,000 was yours, wife, of eating the hottest pepper that you could find.
Yeah, I thought I was bitching out in the fact that I got like 3 of the hottest hot sauces instead. I couldn't like Amazon ship the hottest pepper to me like in the 1 week we had to plan this. But I was so wrong. It was so much worse. I was basically just drinking and just like snorting hot sauce, all on stream while Zen watched and cackled maniacally as I sobbed, just crying like a baby as I'm trying to like do this interview. Oh god.
We have a picture of this, and we'll at some point for like in the future we'll post it. But your face is so much pain you could see on it. Like it's just like you're crying. You could tell like this is the worst thing that you ever could imagine. Like this is our $2,000 one. Like looking back, like yo, this should have been like 6,000 or something. But we thought that this was going to be our goal. Like we need 2,000. Like we can get from the 1,800 up.
Yeah,
to
2,000 was like
this is what's going to get
broke
us.
record, right? That was the whole
yeah.
thing of it. Yeah.
And then the 3,000 was she getting tased, and this was like, yo, we're probably only going to hit 2,000. Probably not going to get up to this, but hey, it's something really fun, and at least for everybody else involved other than Wjfe.
Fun for who? Yeah,
for everyone else. But maybe we can get to 3,000. And we're like, awesome. And they were like, okay, what's the shit we're never going to hit? Admins get matching tattoos. No way. I was like, yep, smoked that. And then Murky shaves his head and then got that one.
Yeah, we did an ultra reach one of just like 10. I remember that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we did ultra reach of 10, which was Murky's gets a sins tattoo.
Yeah. I liked our promotional. Like I'm not gonna lie, I think me and you made most of the promotional like graphics and things. We did a good job on those. Not to fucking pat ourselves on the back too hard, but I was like, we did like for 2 fucking weeks. Like we put
2 weeks.
Yeah, not to fucking like to put like to promote ourselves too much and like pat ourselves on the back, but like for everything that was a great event for 2 weeks of planning. That was.
Fuck you. I did a great job.
Fuck you. I did a great job.
I will pat myself on the back as much as I fucking want. That was 2 weeks of just so much shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I
Good
love
on us.
just because I think this everyone some people might find this interesting, but like some of the most donated. Sorry to switch if I'm switching off of it, but some of the most like donated donos. So like we had like the tiers like 5, 10, 15, 20. Like one of the things was donated 82 times. It was that ET Go Home one. Like that by itself generated like $400.
My favorite.
That was so much fun.
That's so crazy. I almost had that almost also is like weird things that this charity did besides, raise hella money for fucking cancer. But like that alone made me like a friend once we did that LAN event like a couple months ago. Just sending All Might, me, myself, and a bunch of other people back home about 30,000 times. We laughed about that once we met in person for like 2 straight days.
The fact like our original goal was 2,000 and we almost did a quarter of it just on a $5 donation to send people home.
Yeah.
Like that's absurd. Like it's actually absurd. But yeah, I mean there were some good ones like Be Polite, which is I kept noticing because I was going through a lot of this stuff recently. And who was getting all the Be Polites? And it was like the people who are typically toxic in the community in some form, or
Yeah,
like
so-
people who tilt.
Yeah, let's review
Like-
really quickly. The Be Polite is you have to compliment the person who kills you every time they die. Every time you die.
So like B-Jack, like dude gets really bad in games. He had to compliment people. It was
Oh,
hilarious.
dude, I was like
he's
3 of
typing,
those
he's
for him.
like, "You did a great job, buddy. Good job. You're so good at Dota." Like, Rhino got some, Hexy got some. Like all these people, like it's just so funny. Like
Oh God.
all that stuff.
Rhino's the same, and this is I don't know if everybody knows Rhino, but Rhino's like the same guy that at LAN 2 in the finals stood up after solo killing one they're what P1 or something and screamed "You are not him" over everybody. Like that's something that he did in person at a LAN event, and he had to basically like thank people that killed him at this event. Like best day of my life.
I mean, Rhino has a reputation of also kicking fuck ton of people on his teams too for just straight up not being good. So like when he has to compliment somebody for killing him, oh man, that was great. But we had some like other quality ones like what were like 5-man mid was really good. That was in like I think every game.
Oh yeah.
Somebody wanted to do 5-man mid, so
There was like one Bonkai per game too. Sorry.
yeah, Bonkai was a big one. One that somebody did. So we had one for $100. It's called "I Am the Captain Now." You get to choose whatever the hell. Or no, it's I'm sorry. Tell me your wish, sire. You get to choose anything that you want the teams to do, like within reason. And somebody did "Stand in the River in the Shape of a Heart." And watching two teams try to formulate a heart was pure gold. I think this was in the Pot of Sloth game. I can't remember what the matchup, which GRIN team it was. Maybe Scythe or something, but it was hilarious. Just watching this go on.
Somebody donated. My favorite one of those was no movement speed items. I played in that game.
That was
and
my
sucked.
least favorite one, brother. I also had somebody pick my hero that picked me CM. So I had to play that with no movement speed, and people were telling me what items to build. So I had a CM with no movement speed items that had to go Armlet, Helm of Dom, and a Blade Mail. Like, I was like, guys, you got to play this as 4. Like, I'm not providing anything here. Like there's no way that I'm gonna kill anything. It was very, very interesting. And then the part of that came because at the time, me and CNT had a thing where I was like, you need to buy Yules on Dark Willow. Like it's just so good. Like you set up all your combos. Like it's just in general, it's an amazing item on the hero. He refused to ever buy Yules. And we just kind of always went back like and joked about it, like back and forth. But I did $100 bid where he couldn't build anything but Yules. And that was and I didn't say anything to like Zen beforehand or And he is like, is this like right? Like, should we allow this? I'm like, absolutely you should. Like it's an inside joke, like just let it go. And then in response to that, him and Stage just abused me going back to base over and over and over, making me play CM with all these like ridiculous items. Like it was what a good time.
Oh yeah,
in all
Gambit got
honesty. Like,
abused by that. I remember he just had
Gambit
to keep. Yeah,
probably went back to base like 9 times in a row. And I think it was almost worse for All Might because All Might kept having to go back to base and then Kalima. So he had to go sacrifice himself to Roche. Like it was just over and over and over and over. Like it was just hilarious.
I mean that's why
Groundhog
it's
Day.
And he
great to
still
have people.
carried the game, which was like amazing.
Oh yeah,
Like
That's
he
why-
still had a game.
it's great to bring people from the community into this that like are very memorable because of this reason. Like I want Papa Seth to play in one of these games so bad this time.
Oh, I'm
If there is
getting
this
Papa-
time.
I'm getting Papa stuff, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Actually, so we are doing a second iteration of Teamfight against Cancer.
We're fucking running it back, dude.
We're running it back, and we're going with LLS again. We're gonna bring out all the stops. We're gonna have Hannah. If you guys remember last time, Hannah's gonna come on, talk to us again, which I thought was fantastic. So we get to hear from an LLS representative. We are planning to do this on March 11th. And it's gonna Saturdays right in, I believe it will be the tiebreaker week for 82L, the dead week that's given for the DPC. So all eyes on us. It's going to be phenomenal. Like we're going to try to get as many people involved as possible. It's not just going to be Grins versus Sins. As you know, Sins is no longer. So we're going to try to get everyone who got to watch and experience that way. We're going to try to get you guys to participate and you guys to play in the games and experience what it's like. And man, is it a blast. So cannot wait for that. I mean, how do you guys feel? You guys pumped or what?
Oh, I mean, I always am. I'm pumped that this idea took off last time, and I just, dude, honestly, it's just too fun to play in. It's too fun to watch. Like, it's gonna be a great time for everyone.
I don't think I've stopped thinking about eventually like doing this again since the last time. Of course, you have to. Me and Greco have talked a lot about like you like the first week after you don't want to ever do one of these again. You're just like dead. You're exhausted. I slept for like 2 days after this event. I didn't even play in it. But after that kind of weird period, God, this is like all I could think about for like 6, 7, 8 months. And I'm so unbelievably excited that we're doing it again, taking the time this time to do it, and bringing in like as many cool people as we can.
Yeah, I remember speaking to you about this, and it was directly, I mean, it was the day after PSGS Invitational ended, and you go, hey, you want to do the charity event again? Fuck no.
I remember this. I remember this conversation. I remember
was
saying, like,
absolutely not.
dude, Grin
Like,
hit us up again for this charity event. I just don't know if I have it in me. I remember you talking like,
dude.
It's like
so exhausted.
God, it's like Christmas morning. Like the parent has like stayed up all night, like wrapping presents, and then like the 10-year-old walks in, jumps on them while they're sleeping. Is like, let's get up. Come on, you want to do this? You want to do this? It's Christmas.
No,
like that's
no, don't. And then I think 2 days later, I was like, all right, fucking hit me with it.
does not take much to convince Greco to get involved. He's just like,
oh, dude, you just need to give me a couple days to like just get down from like the past event, because I love working on this stuff, and like Wjfe said, like we have time, we're going bigger, we're getting more people involved, we have other incentives, we have like different like side games that we're planning on doing, we're getting like hopefully some corporations involved, maybe getting some of their like contributions, like our team, I think I counted day of, I think we're planning on having 22 different people involved in the event, not like just the operations of it, which is freaking awesome. Like 22 people not getting paid a dime to put in a ridiculous amount of work, and all for just charity.
Yeah,
Like,
that
how
was
cool is that?
yeah, that was amazing. It was also on top of the fact that like last time, especially, we had like such a bare bones staff. Like I think me, you, and like all of this Grin staff were basically constantly in games, part of casts, like doing we had this thing, we had runners, which basically telling the teams like there's punishments and things. Like it was a full day of just at your computer running an event and make sure you run smooth. Like Zen did a great job with the cast too.
Oh, and he did an amazing job. All the casters did a great job. And I always say, like, when you run an event, your casters and your content are the face of the event. Like, you don't see what's going on, like, in the back end of it. What you see is you see the casters.
Yeah.
And you see the host, and you see like all the content. And welcome Jamokin.
Hey everybody.
Internet is back.
Welcome, Bucko.
But-
It is back.
Anyways, going back to it, like, you don't see everything on like in the back end. And what they don't see is while we have our runners like watching the games and such, they also don't realize we're in the game, but our screens aren't moving. Like, they're not moving even an inch, because there's so many awesome donations coming in time and time, like just so quickly, that we're bouncing from one chat room to the other, like making sure that, hey, everything's going, we're getting our donations and trying to figure out. And like, I've got to say, the donation list for what we need when they come in is like the worst thing imaginable, because it moves so fast, and like there's no breakup to it. Like, it's just like one long ass list, and we're just trying to nail, like, okay, which one did we just do? Okay, on to the next one. Fuck, another one came in. God dang it. Like, trying to keep up. And it's hectic, but it's so cool, because at the same time, it's all money going to LLS and the charity. And it's like a huge grouping. And we had I believe 85 unique donors during this, all like working together, and donated $6,229, which is absurd for a one-day event, and shattering any amount that we've raised before.
Yeah.
Um,
It was
and
after you, man.
I was to say, the crazy thing too is, like, you could tell like people love donating time and time again, and I'm really glad Jamokin stepped in. Jamokin owned the number 2 spot, and I think the third most individual donations. Why don't you tell us about your time and what you saw while you were donating?
Yeah, you were outside of this whole thing. You were a spectator. Like, how did you enjoy yourself, Jamokin?
I just had a lot of fun messing with my homeboys, really.
Because
like, for me, it was just like a golden opportunity to really just fuck with the boys. I mean, you literally get to grief people in their Dota games and donate to a good cause, and like that's a win-win.
Literally
There's
a
no losing
win-win. Yeah, that's all I've ever thought about this, is that like I get to mess with my friends and I'm helping somebody. Dude, that's nuts.
It was fun to see, like, so Jamokin and Naya both drafted, and they're drafting against each other. And I could tell that, like, Naya was trying to draft seriously, and then on our end, Jamokin was like, well, you get Visage.
Oh God, no. Oh, I wanted to kill you.
Play this, baby. You're welcome. I feel like I never got enough thanks for putting you on Visage.
I hate you.
I feel like you're not going to get that fix. But like, Kathy was going insane during the game. It was funny because she was like donating for everyone to be polite. It's like, everyone be polite to each other.
Oh,
Hearts.
Everyone participated in things. I mean, I feel like the thing I think we're doing right this time is that we're giving time for people to like kind of set aside time for this. Like, it's not just a out of nowhere, like, hey, is everybody available in 2 weeks? Hey, good, come play in this or come watch this. Like,
yeah,
we're gonna be able to do some advertising. And I think one of the bigger things that really made this like kind of hit home for me is the fact that like we had a lot of people in the community kind of tell us like, hey, I have a family member who's been affected by lymphoma, like, or leukemia, and we had not to bring down the mood, but like we did have a very close friend of both me, Jamokin, and Greco's, like, whose father passed away from it. And like talking to him and hearing about his experience, like this became really clear to us that this was the charity for us to go for that time. And we did a poll to kind of, say like, hey, do we want to switch up charities? What are we feeling? Do you guys want to do like some kind of suicide prevention or something else? But it was surprising to see that a lot of the community and a lot of people we asked like wanted to run it back with LLS, because I think they had a really good impression just from like Hannah and everyone over there for kind of how they handled it. And I think it's really awesome to see that that's like why we're running it back again. Like we optioned it out, right? Like Greco, you sent out a huge,
Yeah. So
like,
the way we did it is we started with, I think it was 19 plus like an other category
yeah,
of different charities. And then we did that through our staff, minimized it down to, I think 6, and then sent those 6 out to like a large number of people. I think we had 38 votes. What they wanted, and then we minimized that and then decided as our full like team of where we wanted to go for after we talked about each individual thing, research extensively on every single charity that we're voting between. So it was really, really good. And we also unfortunately had another really close friend of myself and Welshy's also get diagnosed with
yeah,
lymphoma within the past year. And thankfully, and bless, he is, I believe, 2 months into remission now. So it's something where it's just like feels like time and time again. Leukemia and lymphoma is affecting somebody in their lives. And the coolest thing when I was going through and compiling a whole bunch of like data and looking through the past donations was we had a number of different individuals who donated and was like in memory of like my father or in memory of my grandfather. And it was cool to see um like the amount of donations just in memory of these people, because that's the biggest thing in like struggle I would say is trying to keep the focus not on Dota but on why are we donating, why are we choosing LLS, what impact are we having. And the reason is because it's a real thing. It's something that happens unfortunately more often than we care to admit or really care to focus in on.
mm,
So it affects so many around us, and we can come together and pool every like all of our resources in order to make a difference. And that's what the whole thing's about.
And I think the coolest part about that meeting too, we were like going around in circles, kind of trying to figure out which one out of the final 3 we wanted to pick. And no matter what super positive things we said about these other great charities, we always like ended it with like, oh, but like this with LLS, or God, this was great about LLS. And it's almost like we kind of took it personal to the fact like, God, that was a great event. We raised like a little bit over 6 grand, but we can do better. Like we're not done with LLS. We can go ahead and make this time, take the time, and then just really like give this charity, this major charity that means so much to everybody, really the time and money that it deserves.
Yeah, and it definitely deserved more than 2 weeks of preparation. So
Mhm.
we're excited to come back and
So 3 weeks it
really,
is.
yeah, 3 weeks now. No. But really give it the time it deserves and create the event that it deserves. And like you said, we're just not done yet. And we're not done with what we can do. We don't feel done with what we can do with LLS and the difference that we can make in the community. Um, and we don't feel like you listeners and everyone in the 82L community, the GRIN community, the SINS community, and everyone else that was involved are done as well. There's more that we can do. There's more that we're striving for, and we want to make a difference. So it's exciting. I cannot wait. It's all I'm thinking about recently is just this event and how excited I am to continue it for another a round 2 per se.
and I do love that it just feels like it's an event that's not like, oh, donate to the stream. It's just watch some guys play Dota. It's like, no, everyone's involved here. Like everyone gets to have fun, everyone gets to participate, and everyone gets to feel good that they've contributed to like a good cause in the meantime. Like it's just such a positive event in every form to me that like the moment like that Greco said like, hey, you want to do this again? I'm like, dude, yes. Like done. I have so much on my fucking plate that I'm doing now, but I will.
Oh, I
always
tried to
make time
keep
for
you
this.
out of it.
Yeah, I was like, dude,
I tried to keep you out of it because I
This is
know.
my event. Get the fuck. Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm
I know
excited.
how much
I'm
you
so
have
excited
going
to run
on.
this back. We're gonna do, yeah, and it's just another thing. Like, we're gonna come up with new ideas for donations. We're gonna do new fucking like tiers of shit. Like, we haven't finalized a lot of shit, so I'm not gonna talk too much on it. But like, what are some of the things we came up with, Greco, for like our tiers for this time?
Oh man, so I'm gonna hide our first one because that's gonna be a surprise when we release it. But our $1,500 one is wives or kids get to do the admin's hair and makeup. So, and some of the other members who necessarily aren't the admins, but are like our team leads and different things, are also going to be getting involved. So that's going to be fun. I think a fun twist on the princess cosplay. Wjfe is potentially going to be painting his head like Aang, because bald is beautiful. Right?
Ball is beautiful, bitch.
Zen might bring out a singing voice. He brought out some Kermit the Frog action last time, so we're like, oh, let's make him sing a Disney
Yeah, but the
song.
next one is my favorite.
Yeah. So Wjfe is gonna do Axe in a diaper cosplay.
I don't think that's the one he was referring to.
I don't want to do the next one.
You got to do this
Wanna
shit on
see
stream
that.
too.
Oh man. Oh, our next one is me getting my chest hair waxed by my wife. It's gonna hurt really bad.
Really
Right?
bad.
What do you mean?
Been there.
What-
It hurts really bad.
What he really means is by wife. I'm flying there with wax,
Yes.
and I'm just stripping. We're taking the beast out of the beauty. We're just gonna take all that hair right off.
Oh man, it's
Oh.
gonna hurt. If we could just skip over that one, that would be cool. But our big one, admins are gonna do the one chip challenge. We thought that we had a lot of like positive things when Wjfe had to eat his hottest pepper and all the hot sauce and stuff. So we're just gonna do the one chip challenge, and we're gonna do that. But our big goal is, like we said at the beginning of this, we had some where it was like, well, we have to do them after and all this. No, screw that. Like, we're doing everything. You're gonna see it as it comes through. We're gonna make sure everything gets done, so that you guys get to experience the whole thing as we hit each bit. So it's gonna be exciting. The incentives are fun. We've got some fun giveaways that we're gonna work to give. So
The best part about like bringing this up, like a month and a half before too, is I'm sure a lot of you are more evil or more inclined to sabotaging like people in power. If you have any really good thoughts, just some horrible shit we have to do live within reason and within Monka Twitch TOS, why not comment that below or reach out to Greco or something. We'll just kind of like throw it out to the think tank a little bit too. Maybe we'll add some of those in.
Oh, absolutely. Same goes for the donations. You guys got any great ideas? I would love to hear about them in the comments below.
be exciting. Can't freaking wait.
I said community involvement on all
maybe one of them would be getting Cookie's wife on the podcast if we reach a certain amount.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
Cookie's
because that's going to
girlfriend.
be the donation.
Yes. That should be the highest goal.
It'll be the highlight of the
mind.
6 viewers we have. Like, all the admins are going to be really working for that one.
We've been hitting around 40 recently, so it's fine.
Look at them boys.
But yeah, it should be a good time. I can't wait. Jamo can volunteer to be one of our runners in lobby mods.
Oh, yep. See, I just got in an email. I have it in writing. He signed it. And we're good to go. You're signed up there, buddy.
Oh,
Welcome.
yeah. I also forgot to mention that Jamokin's volunteered that if we get to just $300, he will get a Pot of Sins tattoo. Out of date, but it's still a goal. Thank you for volunteering, Jamokin. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Can we get like an expiration date on the tattoo?
Yeah, that's
like,
a good idea.
Like Best Buy, and then like when it disbanded. That's what I want to see.
That'd be good. We should have a born and what is it, like in death date? Oh, that'd be cool.
So we appreciate you for your involvement, by the way, Jamokin.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys.
But
So, do we say the dates on this, by the way, Greco? So just
Yeah,
repeat them
so
for
the
people.
dates, once again, to repeat, will be March 3rd. I'm sorry, March 11th. So March 11th, we're going to go ahead and the event's going to start. Believe that the stream's going to be opening around 2:30 in the afternoon Eastern time. We'll be going probably all the way to about midnight. So there's going to be plenty of time to pop in, screw some people's games over, have some fun, maybe get a giveaway item. Who knows? But really just enjoy yourself and really support such a great cause that LLS really is.
Oh yeah, and
So-
we'll be opening up signups soon. So look forward to that. We'll want every team we can get.
Do we
Yeah.
want to give that date on when to
Right. We're aiming for February 1st, so in just a few days.
Yeah, get your buddies and
So-
get ready for punishment. That's all I can
We'll have
say.
some. I think too. We'll have something possibly dropping that day as well. Within hopefully, I think
Hopefully.
we're good to do it. So look out for
Few,
that on
few
on
details. still
social
to
media. But we'll definitely have something out by the first or the
Yes.
second. So
But speaking of, so like sticking on the charity deal though, this is something that like we kind of talked about. 82L has done a few, I believe. You guys have done with WSS. You obviously did it with us last time. We're doing it again. But we've had, I think, Damage Gaming was another org that a short time after ours ran their own charity event in a tournament format, which was pretty cool. I think Jamoke, you played in that, right?
I don't know.
The Damage Gaming one? I think you did, because I think it was mostly Champions League teams or Divine League, whatever it was at the time.
Possibly. I don't quite recall though. I think I may have actually.
So we've seen a bit in the 82L community, but we were talking beforehand, we don't see it all that much outside of the amateur communities. Like we'll see like an occasional like charity stream someone will watch, and like all the money that they get donated to them during the stream they'll donate to a specific charity kind of thing.
Yeah, we see tax
But-
write-off streams.
Yeah, we do see tax write-off streams. And I believe Dendy, No Tail, and Slacks not too long ago did their show match for raising money for Ukraine. But outside of that, like, it's not a big thing in like the DPC or like any of these big orgs or really individual players. And like we talked last time a bit how we feel like organizations in professional Dota are really missing something big. And when we look at like big sports teams, or even like down to the players, like you take the NFL, like it seems like every single player has their own foundation, like in charity.
I will say that for like mainstream sports, they are like region based. Like you're either a team of a city or whatever, and so you tend to do things for the city. Whereas in Dota, you might have 5 players spread out really far from different countries, so you don't really have that same local connection as you do to like, you know, for me, let's say like the Winnipeg Jets. I'm in Winnipeg. They're our hockey team. So I think it's a lot easier to see them doing good in the community and actually like see these players.
Except
Whereas-
you do have teams like Thunder Awaken, who was essentially all from Lima. Like it's NA spread out a lot, but not
Wait, how many of their
necessarily
fans are
SCA.
actually from Lima? Like you have to. It also comes down to where your fan base is. Like you might, you got. I'm sure everybody here was a fan of like TI8 OG,
right?
but none of us lived in a country that had one of the players. Like it, we don't have that same sort of connection to the players.
Surely you do have a regional following, though, of some sorts, right? Like when I look at like say like once again like Thunder, like SA Dota is kind of big. Like
Oh,
they
extremely.
fucking love their Dota. And surely you can do some community type stuff or like say stuff like revolving around the country and things like that. Is it going to hit as big of like a city involvement like in the NFL? Probably not. But surely you can get some kind of following or some kind of like bits of money raise. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it is something, in my opinion, that is doable by every single team within the region. If, say, like you have OG, you have a huge freaking following of like all across the world. You have Seb, who's from Paris. Like Paris had that big catastrophe years ago, right? Like
Oh, with
they
Notre
could
Dame?
have hit on that.
With the Notre
Or
Dame?
no, it was like the shooting or something, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
No, the bombing.
Yeah, the bombing. Like
There's a lot of them that's
they,
hit Paris, actually.
yeah, like
Yeah,
Uh,
a lot of bad stuff happened in Paris for a
yeah.
while. To be
yeah.
fair.
So like one of your players is this, like you can set up something to like one of the areas for your players, or like hit this one time, hit this next time, hit this next time, hit that next, like you can do certain things like that. And surely like shit like Ukraine thing, like people all over the world were donating for that.
Oh yeah.
For Paris, like people all over the world would donate for that. Like you can have charity involvement. Maybe you're waiting for like a big unfortunate event, or just say, hey, like shit in Peru right now is fucked. Like there's like it's not even safe. Like why they're how they can even have a major in there. Like who knows? But you can raise like being an SA team, like you can start a charity for like the people in Peru who are struggling. Like that's doable.
Well, even more than
But
that, like they have different charity organizations for just all the cancers and things, right? Like it's unfortunately I had to say it, but LLS I think is primarily like a North American society. Like, and it's not exactly like lymphoma and leukemia are like region locked. Um, so there's plenty of charities I'm sure they could reach out to, and plenty of beneficiaries. And I hate to say it, but every dollar goes way further there, right? Like in places like Peru and things like that.
yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
I think we hit it. We kind of meant we talked a little bit like before we even like started recording, but just from like my background with like League of Legends, and them like slowly creeping up and trying to catch up with like real like sports and like how popular it is, especially in like North America, or like how like soccer/football is in like other countries. We're still like 25, 30 years behind. Sometimes it feels like, and I think even Dota is trying to catch up a little bit more. It's just everything is still so chaotic. We're like in the Stone Age when it comes to like actualizing yourself as a community, like really taking a look like outside of yourself. We're not just people grinding in tournaments or grinding in leagues. There's like something more there that we can reach out to and even like gain a lot of stuff from putting yourself out there, putting your brand out there, to kind of like help the community. That gets you a lot of eyes like on your brand.
oh yeah.
And I just don't see esports still like getting to that point for a while. It's going to take like events like this where we just keep running them and running them like once a year, twice a year for people to start being like, holy shit, like we need to be doing that. If not for the good of the world, then also for like just getting themselves out there. And maybe that's the gaslight that we really need. We really need to just be gaslighting these other orgs, thinking like, oh my god, I can get so much clout from doing these charities, and we're just gonna be there maniacally, cackling.
I don't even think it's a gaslight. I think it's honestly like we talk about this a lot with like the NFL and things. We'll get to that, but like it's a really is a win-win-win situation when you do these things, right? It's publicity all different directions for a cause, for a community, for an individual team. Like everybody wins when communities get involved in charitable causes, right?
Exactly.
I mean, your name is like it's huge on the stage, right? Like how many people know Arteezy, know Samael, know Seb, know No Tail, like Dendi, like Hector, all these people, right? Their names are on a pedestal. And seeing that and putting their names that are just larger than life next to a cause, like you're automatically bringing awareness, like it to those issues.
Oh yeah. I mean,
And people, if they're not like, if they don't already know of it, Like they're learning about it then. JMO, I believe you were looking at something, correct? Maybe? Did we lose JMO?
I
Around
I'm
Gammon?
not sure what you're referring to.
Gammon Gladiators
Oh
or something?
yeah, one of the players on Gaming Gladiators commented late last year, once they knew they were playing in the DPC, that any TI 11 winnings they were going to win, they were going to donate it all to charity. So like the main money making event for the year, and basically the only thing that keeps you sustainable, this player is already committed to giving it all to charity. So that's kind of cool.
It just
Like you
amazes
don't
me
have
that-
to do that.
Actually,
Sorry,
No,
go ahead.
not at all.
it just amazes me that there isn't like more involvement. I think in that.
Well,
Like,
I think the last big thing that happened was the Wjfe, I'm sure, tournament, like back
Yeah.
in I think 2020, the Wjfe charity tournament. It was pretty big, high production value. But let's just say behind the curtains, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows and goodness. And that was like the last really big charity tournament I ever recall happening for like professional Dota.
I think that's the best point. I won't throw any names out there. I doubt any of these people I'm gonna kind of mention off the cuff are watching this. But like when I was super involved in like League of Legends leagues, and whenever they would do something like this, it's like a big like fucking Game of Thrones, right? Like everybody's kind of vying for their own thing. Everybody has their own angle. And that's where I'll bring up too. Like I think the reason I'm able to do this with you guys and have this be successful, it's like the Dota difference. I think in this community is a little bit more
damn right,
like
there's a Dota difference.
it's that Dota diff. It's just easier to get along with people or kind of collaborate. There's not everybody hitting that angle, and my worry is that eventually, just because Dota's a little bit still behind where League is currently at, that we'll get to that. So my hope is that you guys, like this whole community that I've like kind of been adopted by, kind of stays the way it is, and we can keep kind of growing in that capacity. Because like JMO said, like every time I've had that kind of experience, it's always super toxic. They're talking all big on stream about all this money they're donating, and then they're screaming at each other in private Discord calls. Like,
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we cover in just to talk on this quickly and not take away from the subject, is that the Dota community has surprisingly enough not lost its personality. Like even at our major events, there's still this random dude doing like literally a hoedown in Texas, like with a bunch of audience members, like, and that's going live on the screen, and it's the dumbest, like clunkiest thing you've ever seen, but it screams, this is Dota's personality. There's people in the crowd who get on the not on main stage, but on the stream in front of hundreds of thousands of people who are just holding a plastic frog and an ice tray and screaming things. Like that's our community, and we've never lost that somehow.
okay, maybe,
We're trying to fight the entire stadium for a front row seat.
Hey, nobody took me up on that, man.
maybe I want out. You brought up all these things. Maybe I changed my mind. The frog, the frog is what is gonna bite it for me.
The
I'm
ice
like,
frog,
wait,
my
what?
friend. The ice frog. Oh, there's a whole story there, but we'll get that later. The point being though is that I agree with you though. I think that like we haven't lost faith in it, and the fact that like no one's trying to vie for the spotlight of this kind of charity stuff, right? We still understand like, look, no team is the focus. While you get benefit from it for promotion, and you get to feel like a good person. What?
Have you ever not agreed with something a guest has said on our show?
I try not to. No, I disagree with the admins.
I feel like
I disagree
you
with the
kinda
admins
lost
quite a lot.
You did not disagree with the admins, I think, at all.
No, I chopped them up about them not giving clear answers to their shit. I'll say that. Let's not run this back on this now, please. I don't need to
of something I can make you disagree on that's not going to cost you.
Trying to give
guys
Welshie grief because I just got here and I wasn't at the
Grief,
pre-show. Grief.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that like it's something that we do this a lot on this stream, but we critique it because we like to view it. And you said yourself, we're 25 years behind, but I think it's great to look at professional sports as kind of our advice for the future, right? Like what are they doing and what are they successful at that helps their game, helps their promotions, helps their community, and kind of does that. And I think that Dota would benefit a lot to learn from the fact that, like, I mean, a lot of NFL teams have in their fucking contracts that you have to be community involved in some form, right? Like all the players have to, especially if you carry weight to your name. And I'm not saying maybe not contractually is the word for it, but like to at least realize that, hey, this is free publicity and it benefits a lot of shit. Like it really is fantastic to get involved in this, even on a community, even on a team and organization basis.
And it's good to look at them too, because I mean, the NFL is a fucking titan.
Yeah.
Like
I would say it's the titan.
is the titan. Especially in North America. Like there's nothing bigger. Like it's the most watched like event, like as the most watched event in the entire world, like in one fucking day. It owns a day of the week, like literally owns Sunday. Like no one else can do anything on that day. And good Lord, you challenge for Thursday and Monday as well. And it's good to see what they're doing because they're an organization and a business and like a broad spectrum event, like basically what Valve and like all these esports is, but to the highest degree. And we like to compare because that level is what, in my opinion, esports should be shooting for. We want that kind of publicity. We want people that excited about specific teams, and we want them like to really show that kind of like outreach. I mean, for example, like I don't know how many of you guys know who Mike Tice is, but he's a longtime coach for the Minnesota Vikings. He's jumped over to like the Raiders and the Bears and Jacksonville, but he's been in the NFL. He's played in the NFL. He's had his Mike Tice Foundation for a long, long time, and even when he's done, he's retired. He's continuing this on. And it's like what we talked about when we decided we wanted to go to round 2 with LS is just because you're done, just because you're not necessarily in the spotlight anymore, the job's not done. There's more that you can do. And you see a lot of these players still adding more, giving more, continuing after they're done when their name isn't as much in the spotlight. And it's all for the cause, and that's what it should be. The focus is on what you're raising the money for. It's not about the name. It's not about the organization. And it's not about who's playing and screaming at each other in the voice channels. It's what it's about is earning money for a cause that means something and creating a difference, because grand scheme of things, like what you do in your Dota career doesn't matter, but what you do elsewhere is what does. And helping people and families like that's long lasting shit. You know what I mean?
Well said. Well said. Yeah.
But I think that's gonna wrap it up for us. Ellis, what do you guys think?
I agree.
I think that's
I
great.
mean, I think it's been great talking to you, Wjfe. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
Whenever,
Thank
dude.
you.
Yeah, maybe eventually I'll come and I'll drop the dirt on all my league shit. But I think making this all about the event and LLS and getting all hyped for that, I think this was perfect.
Yeah, so go ahead and stay tuned for more announcements coming up here in the next coming days. Make sure that you're getting your involvement in. We can't wait for Jamokin to be one of our lobby mods and runners. And special thanks to everybody that's involved, and see you guys next time on episode 41.
Holy crap.
Bye.